Hey homies, how you doing? This might be a short and sweet one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um, we make wise choices. We're smart. We're connected. I've decided I'm not gonna talk to you guys anymore like I'm pleading with you to understand something, because at this point you understand. You just understand. We get it. We always do this like referential thing to humans, like, oh well, we're just never gonna get it. We just it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, or whatever the saying is. Bullshit. Like, I'm just gonna start talking about this world as the vision that I hold, and I hope that you guys do the same thing. Let's take time out of the equation. Let's just do it now. Let's look on the horizon of now. Because so often, we could feel the difference. We could feel the difference between our chin down, lost deep in thought, our heart is clamped, and we're reviewing, constantly reviewing, going into deep memory, feeling shitty. There's a difference between the use of mind in that way and the use of mind where you are looking on the horizon of now. You have your chin up. If you are awake and not meditating and your eyes are open, you are looking on the horizon of now. You're not sinking in. You're with the world. It's happening now. You're poised, you're rocking, you're ready. You're engaged. And if you are turning inside, if you are looking within and using the mind in a conducive way, then you are chin up, third eye activated. You're visionary. You're imagining. You are energetically manifesting. So that's a cool ass distinction to make between going within and getting heavy, or going within and getting light. Just wanted to mention how dope that is, because we're in tune. I couldn't tell if I heard my cat. I just have to kind of keep my ears perked sometimes, because my little studio here is my room, and sometimes she wants to enter or leave or whatever. Sorry about the tangent there. But also in the process of eyes up, engaged. I feel like she's meowing. I'm sorry, guys. There is a softening of the battle stance. We need to soften the battle stance, okay? Let's take the battle out of the stance. Let's just meet the world halfway. Sink into it. Stand. Kind of like a warrior kind of stance in yoga, where you're balanced, a little buoyant, and strong, And I also kind of wanted to talk about, God, there's a lot I want to talk about, but just a side note, I hear people talking about the mission to Mars, and kind of well, it's so important that, these astronauts going out to Mars should have everything they need to survive in this vessel, and what do they need to make this trip, and all this hardcore emphasis going into it, when the fact is, as Buckminster Fuller coined the term spaceship Earth for a damn reason, we're constantly in space flight, and the spaceship is Earth. And yet again, I gotta let the cat in. Come on. Sorry, guys. So, since we're on a spaceship, we ought to make sure that we have everything we need to make this flight in one piece. So, I like to just say, at this point, the veil is thin. The the bullshit is rising to the surface, and we could all see it, we could all smell it, and we can just see it, and we could just go, okay, so that happened, that's happening. But really, it's about what we're activating within ourselves right now. And restructuring, like I said, the way that we view the collective self-image, and also, obviously, our own self-image. And functioning from a place of, we understand solar energy, we understand Clean energy, we understand that borders are bullshit, we understand that it's no one's real right, no one owns this planet, no one can, nationalism, all that shit, all these divisions that are complete hogwash. And we're really starting to understand that, and we're saying, you know what, enough is enough. I see eye to eye with every single person on this planet. And the people that are hard, whether they're violent, whether they're dense or whatever, perverted, whatever their deal is, like, we really have to embrace those people too. And we have to do it because the love that we have going and the unconditional aspect, and this is an all-inclusive spaceship here, people. We can't just push people over to the side, and we can't push our garbage over to the side. We can't push our pollution over to the side. We can't push what we don't like over to the side anymore. I think we're like, dude, this planet is shrinking. This planet is smaller and smaller. We're really, living on top of each other. And it's just, we're big enough to do this. We're awesome enough to do this. And yeah, I don't really know where else I want to go with that. That's just that. And obviously in doing these things, you're like, okay, well, how do I tap into this energy that is like allowing me to be so unconditionally loving towards everyone, and to understand that I could either chin up, third eye activated, be visioning, or chin down, turning inside and drowning in my own sorrows or my own regret or my own insecurities. You can do those things. You understand what I'm talking about. And one of the things I find particularly helpful with that is the idea that you must superimpose the one mind over everything you see and everything you're experiencing. And what I mean by that is that's the backdrop for everything. When you're looking at something, you're seeing the one mind playing out. Okay? You're not seeing something mundane. You're seeing something miraculous. Because if you think about it, like, we have the one mind, which is all that is, it's the Om. And then we have these individual souls, and then we have these individual incarnations that these souls are having. And it's kind of like a fractal. It's like as above, so below, right? Just like I mentioned in the first talk, shit's spinning around in our galaxy, and shit's spinning around in our bodies, the cells in our bodies, as above, so below. It's a matter of scale. And all that we're doing when we perceive through these human eyes is we're seeing a certain, certain sound waves we're perceiving, certain light waves we're perceiving, we're of a certain size, we're having a certain experience, infinite experience, but we're having it as a human. So we have, I guess you can say, a limited perspective on all that is. So what I'm saying is, rather than seeing a limited perspective, really understand that it is another way of seeing the Om. So basically, the Om is the backdrop for every single thing we perceive. It's like a holographic experience. If you take a holograph and you cut it in half, each of those pieces will have the whole image. And if you cut those pieces in half, even the smaller bits will contain the entire image. So I guess what I'm saying is you contain the entire image of the entire universe. You are one mind. You are not an individual, separated entity living in a vacuum. You are that one mind. And it's like this little tendril coming off, you know? And if you want, then you can start identifying as that. You're not just, I'm John Smith, or I'm, Juan Ramirez, or whatever. You are one mind. I've told you in the past talks how important it is to understand even your own soul as eternal. And not just this incarnation. And taking it a step further, you are all that is. And when you have that kind of energy flowing through you, that understanding, that aha moment, and you'll kind of flow in and out of that understanding, and you'll start to check in with it more and more and be reminded more and more. That's what awakening is. And the cool thing is when you start to have that energy surging through you, it's kind of like you are like a spaceship, and you get to burn your engines. So you have to watch where your spaceship is pointed, because when the engines burn, you're going, So the cool ass thing about this is when you start to understand your infinite nature, you are all that is, and you can start to feel and channel that excited energy or that super calming energy. I mean, it can come in various forms, but then you can begin to take that energy and apply it in directions, focus that energy and push it into relationships, projects, ways of looking at the world. It could energize anything. And so it's cool because you get to really select, hey, what do I want to manifest? What do I want to do? What do I want to, who do I want to be? And it's a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. And it's something that we're all ready for and we're already doing. And we're just going to keep doing it more and more because we have all it takes to make this a harmonious place on this planet. I think I may have touched on everything that I want to touch on. Yeah, and when you do that, it's going to be kind of a lunge forward. Like when you access this energy and you really allow yourself to be undefined by who you were 2 seconds ago, it's a lunge. It's a big step. It's like you're going out, it feels like you're going out on a limb sometimes. But really, there's this benevolent energy behind it that wants to express itself through you. And your consciousness is one mind consciousness, when you're not getting bogged down by your individual neuroses or patterns or individual karmas you've experienced. You are absolutely the extraordinary signature of one mind. And that's when you get geniuses doing their shit, whether it's just people coming up with radical ideas, like artists, or like Einstein, or Mozart, or just you have that exact same potential. These are just beings that have tapped into one mind. And right now, it's time for a whole shitload of people to tap into one mind and do these lunges in these sort of, on the scale of it all, on these micro levels, on these individual levels, but also creating an entire lunge for the planet and rippling into the universe, really. I love it, guys. I'm excited about it. And yeah, that's it. I love you. And let's just keep rocking. And you can tell with your own personal story and self that how you're activating and how you're shifting and how it's a gorgeous thing. And I encourage you to just keep riding it, and I'm going to do the same. And keep trusting it. And I love you. Peace.